Now it's time for desktop discussions.
And in today's time, nobody is perfect. So I'm going to first and foremost ask you to excuse me for my appearance. I know a little rough around the edges. Um, I was thinking about this topic and trying to decide how to present it. I know it's been a while since I've come on and do a live, but I have been really doing some things behind the scenes. I got a few engagements, some that have not been able to be advertised or promoted, quote unquote. Trying to respect clients' preferences, I'll say. And I got some things coming up which I will speak about. But in addition to the speaking side, I've been focusing on the creative side. And it's making me think about how you're supposed to stay in a particular lane and do things a particular way. And if you stray from that, sometimes you're not viewed credibly, or you're not viewed with the same emphasis as someone that just does a singular thing. So let me first say this: nobody is perfect, and I want to ask you, please, by all means, post your comments, post your questions, whatever it may be, however you may feel about this topic. I'd love to get your view, because that's how we grow. That's how we learn. We hear each other, we listen to each other, we talk about our experiences, and we share and receive information from one another. And that way you can begin to gain more insight, because I don't believe we should ever stop learning. So, my first question, and please feel free to write this down: who do you know that's perfect? Is it your loved one? Is it a brother or sister? Your mom, your dad? Is it your pet? I mean, literally, who is perfect? And if you stop to think about it, you think there's a definition for the word perfect, and really, who aligns accurately with that definition? I don't believe there's anyone that does. And I believe that um, we have good intentions. We do the best we can, but we all make mistakes. We all fall short. In my book, Radiate the Brain and Change the Game, I talk about the importance of mistakes. So many of us, we try to avoid mistakes, which it makes sense, generally speaking, but there's so much you can gain from making those mistakes, whether it's because you prepare not to, or the mistakes happen upon you. There's such an education, so much insight when you actually make mistakes. You just have to step back, size things up. What did you do? What didn't you do? What were the circumstances? And I promise you that there is a lesson. And when I say that nobody is perfect, I think it should be obvious that there's two sides to humanity. There's the good side, and then there is the bad side. And in many cases, we don't, you don't want to acknowledge the bad side, but it's real, because once again, no one is perfect. And when we have like superheroes, whether it's in films, people in the military, in real life and real time, again, going back to older siblings or parents, we want to feel like there's someone that is flawless. They've never made a mistake, or they've done so well that it's really hard to point out their mistakes. But I promise you, even knowing the good side, even when a person is a professional, let's look at that: your professional athletes, your professional entertainers, and people of that nature in business. Even with the professional, they've made $100 million, or they're a billionaire. I promise you, Zuckerberg, Mark Cuban, I mean, all the great Steve Jobs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, they have made mistakes, or they have done things that are not very credible, whether it's personally or professionally. You may not know those specific deeds, but they have done something that has not shown them in the best light. And no one wants to walk around talking about their imperfections. But the truth is, I believe, again, it's another opportunity for learning once those things come to light. And I also believe in transparency, and I also believe in clarity. When you're transparent, you don't mind sharing how you've made certain mistakes or how you've experienced certain things, because those things will help other people. It's not always just about you. It's about the fact that by you exposing yourself or your shortcomings, you're allowing your audience, or you're allowing those that are close to you, to understand that it's okay if they too should make a mistake. It's okay when they make a mistake. It's okay if they don't know certain things and are walking down the path of life and they get stuck or they're uncertain. So understand that transparency is really important, because we all learn and grow because of our various experiences. And clarity. Now, if you want to minimize mistakes, you want to seek clarity. However, and again, write these things down. However, even in seeking clarity, it doesn't mean you're going to be flawless, because the clarity that you seek, the clarity that you understand, when you execute, you will also be able to look back and realize, wow, I could have done that even better. Or, wow, I could have done that differently. And there lies the difference. So, again, those that are professionals, and you just find it so difficult to see them as flawless. And I don't think anyone walks around saying literally, wow, this person is flawless. No, but when you find out that they've done something wrong or something bad or something's bad that has happened to them, it's kind of hard to accept, because it's like we have them on this pedestal, or we see them in this certain light, in this certain or particular way. And you figure, how did they become so polished if they are a person that's made so many or has made a particular type of mistake? Well, it's called being human. If you're human, you're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. You're not always going to perform in your best way possible. I know for myself, when the pandemic first came about a couple of years ago, and I was hearing all these stories about how people were being impacted, I was thinking, that's crazy. Why are all of these stories coming out about people that show their imperfections? I'm not impacted. What's wrong with them? And then maybe a month or a couple of months later, I start really doing what I call critical in-depth analysis. Again, something I've written about in another book. The book is called Aligned by Design. In critical in-depth analysis is having the ability to really size yourself up, being analytical about you yourself, whether it's your actions, your behavior, your mannerisms, your speak, whatever it may be. And looking at it for what it is. And I realized that with myself, wow, I have been impacted by the pandemic. I have been feeling a little uncertain. I have been feeling edgy. My behavior had shifted. It wasn't exactly the same. I didn't want to admit it at first, because I'm a person with a strong constitution, but I'm not flawless. I'm still human. When I came to the realization that, yes, I've been impacted as well, it let me know, hey, you're not flawless. Anyone's exterior can be penetrated, and I was no exception. So, in saying that just now, I don't know if I've ever said that online or openly, but in saying it right now, hopefully it may help someone to know that if you're not the same that you were a year ago, 2 years ago, or you find yourself changing, it's okay. You're not the only one, and as we age, we're going to change anyway. We're going to change our viewpoints. our tolerance level will change, et cetera, et cetera. So understand that even though there's two sides of all of us, the positive and the negative side, because we're human, you're not perfect. Nobody is. And, I guess it's just surprising when we realize that, hey, this person's got money. This person has vehicles, material things, right? This person has status. This person is known for doing all of these wonderful things. They've got millions of followers, whether it's because of music, the speaking or writing industry, whatever the profession or the industry is. Guess what? If you look behind the curtain, pull the curtain back, and you look behind it, you'll find flaws. You'll find errors, mistakes, judgment, misappropriate and inappropriate thinking, actions. It may not be constant, it may not be criminal, but they are alive, those negative attributes. So if you've been thinking that way yourself, know that it's okay. Not that you want to continue to do it, but it's okay as far as it's normal from time to time that we go through things. It's normal that we consider things. Now, you want to pump the brakes as it relates to what you act upon, but it's normal. You are a human being. We're inundated with information, good, bad, and indifferent information. So don't beat yourself up. Sure, talk to your doctor, talk to a shrink, talk to a psychologist, counselor, someone in your place of worship, because it's okay. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. And it takes a lot to maintain this thing called life and to achieve your goals. And even when you have a goal, you're still going to have challenges in your life. So whoever this is for, I encourage you, post your comments, post your questions. If you disagree, post that as well. Hey, it's just a part of life. And if you're interested in any of the books that I spoke about or any of the other tidbits of information, let me just put up here, if I can find it really quickly for you, where you can go take a look at some of the information from myself and people like me. And maybe it'll be something that'll help you become a better version of yourself or gain additional insight to why you've come to this conclusion or another conclusion. And like normal, I always tell people, you don't have to take my word for it, but if you're willing and if you're able and you can create the extreme and change the game. And until next time, you guys take care and I'll see you later.